Welcome to the Business Leaders Legacy Podcast, the show where we go behind the scenes of business leaders to uncover their vision, strategies, and challenges they face along the way. My name's Chris Bruner. I'm the CEO of Simple AI Solutions and the host of today's podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to have Aaron Opheim, co-owner of Northend. They recently celebrated their 10th anniversary providing high-end custom cabinetry, having been recognized as a top regional firm in design for innovation. Aaron, thank you for being here. Can you please introduce yourself, tell our listeners a little about you, your business, and the customers you serve?
Hi there. My name's Aaron. I'm originally from Iowa, now in Florida, where the business is. We do lines of ordered cabinets all the way from semi-custom to fully custom, and then we also locally hand make anything that's needed. Furniture pieces, hoods. That's about what we do, and we serve pretty much just the local area over here in Amelia Island, Florida. We don't get up into Georgia much or down into Jacksonville. We just kind of stay around this island, and it's been a great source.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Well, I wanted to ask, what do you enjoy most about running North End?
What I've liked since I came on as an owner is that I've been able to talk to the people, the customers, and what I've told them is what happens. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I don't have to answer to anybody. And the customers have really reacted well to just being fully transparent with them about things. Um, and it's been great to just talk to them and know what I'm telling them is what's gonna happen instead of hoping that somebody above me is gonna agree with what I've done. And that's been one of the better things.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I thinking about just kind of how your company started and grew and has become what it's become today. What has been a critical decision or maybe a turning point in the history of North End that's really kind of shaped the direction of where you guys are now?
Well, one of the big things is I met the other owner at another small shop that was a custom cabinetry shop here, and he left and started this. And after COVID, I decided I wanted to have a part of my own business, and I approached him, and his decision to welcome me in and use his brand that he had started is pretty much what started us in this direction that we're in now. And it's been great, and he's been a great partner.
Yeah, that's cool. Having the right partnership, especially up in that level of co-ownership of a company is so crucial. It makes such a big difference in, a wide variety of industries, but I could see how especially in your company. So yeah, that's really cool. I wanted to talk about trends within the industry. And so, what are some of the biggest changes you may be seeing in the cabinetry industry right now?
A lot of the changes that I saw, especially from where I started at the local shop here, we went from a lot of face frame to the frameless full overlay. Because all of the design shows on TV sell that as more space, and it's almost all you see, or you see inset, and nobody really wants to pay for inset. So they all want to do frameless full overlay. And then along with that has become a materials thing where you get full 3/4 plywood or 5/8. And so materials have been a challenge, especially with what's been happening since COVID with shipping and everything. Just getting the right materials in to do the jobs has been a bit of a challenge. There was a year or two after COVID where we still have backstock that we ordered before it because it all just came in. And so the challenge of using all that has been unique.
Yeah, I could see how that could be challenging. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, COVID definitely made a huge impact
Yeah.
on all of us, right? In all different ways. It definitely was a wild season to go through, and I'm
Hmm.
glad we're on the other side.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, what about any tools? Are there any tools or strategies, maybe perhaps of like technology, maybe automations or anything like that you're seeing within the industry that's maybe helped with, project management or estimating or even lead generation, anything like that?
Yeah, so one of the things that the other owner and I um were involved in at the smaller custom cabinet shop was they got a CNC machine. And so now since that happened, CNCs have come down in price and they're easier to use. And it's been a goal of ours to possibly get one set up so we can just have our own line of cabinets that we can offer at a discounted a price closer to what you would go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy, because we can just throw it on the machine and cut it instead of using all the labor to cut and do all of the things that you can do on a machine. So we've been excited about that, and it was a goal when we originally started. But then we transitioned to using what was 2020 design at the time. Now it's gone through about 3 name changes and it's called DesignFlex. And that's been really good. We're using that now to order lines of cabinets, which are semi-custom to fully custom. And I'm also using it when we do handmade to just do the designs so customers can see something, because it does a great job of showing the customer what the room will look like and everything. And they can also access things online and websites through the different lines and brands, which has been a great tool to send them to the brand's website and let them explore on their own and then come back and tell me what they want to see on their layout.
Yeah. Yeah, having that visionary tool for your customers to really kind of see what's possible, I'm sure makes a huge difference. And so, yeah, that's really cool. That's super cool. Um, Shifting a little bit to just the current state, of your company, what is currently working really well at North End, right? What maybe makes you most proud of your team's work?
I've liked that what we do isn't drawn out. I've seen several, not even like at the old shop I was at, sometimes installations would just get drawn out over weeks or months, whether it was material or other sub problems. It's hard to say, but we've been very efficient and we are always there on time. I keep everybody, the builders, the customers updated on time frames, and we're usually pretty accurate. We don't try to push things too early. I do emphasize with everybody, patience is the key to getting what you want if you don't want to pay a lot of money. And so we usually tell people we're 6 to 10 weeks out based on how they want to approach the project, whether handmade or ordered. It all varies. And that's given us the freedom to be able to order stuff and then still build other things at the same time. Whereas if we were doing all handmade, the shop is full of one job and you can't do much more. Whereas if we can order something at a lesser price and just get it installed, and do a handmade thing, that's been working out great. And we've been very efficient with it. So we just did 2 bathrooms the other day. We were there for a morning and it was done. And a customer was super happy. And that's just a great example of pushing to have all the pieces we need at the time and do it right.
Yeah, I could see how that synergy, all the moving parts coming together, just makes it all work out great in the end. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, shifting a little bit, every business faces hurdles and challenges. Is there any specific challenge or, any type of, hurdle that you faced in the past, that maybe you were able to overcome, and and what did you learn from that experience?
We actually just went through one. So what's been happening is one of the brands we heavily relied on that was a fully custom. They moved factories midsummer, and production has slowed down to a halt practically, and our timeframes went to nearly a half year. So I was given the alternative to present another brand to replace orders that were just sitting there that I put in late August, September. Um, So I learned that, again, the transparency. Once I had the problem and a solution, I went to the customer and said, all right, this is the bad news, but we can put you in this better line at no extra charge. The time frame, of course, is not good. Like, you should be getting your cabinets now, but you're not because this happened. And I wasn't made aware. And as soon as I did, we figured this out, and these are the alternatives. And every customer responded positively. I gave them selections beyond what they had before, and they could pick even nicer product. And it was about 3 jobs that I had to do that for. And one was with a builder that was actually very excited to switch to the other brand because she liked it a lot better, but it had been more money. And so the balance of figuring all that out was a bit of a challenge and a stressor. And I just finished transitioning all of those orders from the one brand to the other this week.
Yeah. Yeah, that I could see how that definitely is stressful, right? When those
Yeah.
unexpected changes with ordering happens. Yeah, that definitely can be stressful, but that's cool. It sounds like your customers are happy. Sounds like you got through it great. And yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we were relieved that we had solutions.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about currently? Are there any, headaches, challenges, maybe bottlenecks that are taking up too much time within the business? Anything you're currently facing?
Um, well, right now, what we've done is we started using a delivery service, and they were great at first, and we've been struggling a little bit with the timing of them getting the product to us. Because we're in a small office that trucks can't get into. Um, and so we have it delivered down in Jacksonville and then brought up to us or to the job. And it was really good at first, and now we're having a little bit of a challenge where I think they're trying to grow a little bit, and they've got drivers that haven't been as dependable. And it's been hard because I'll go and sit at a job almost all day waiting for a delivery. And sometimes I got to chase them on the phone and kind of be like, "You guys still coming? What's going on?" And that's been the biggest headache lately outside of what I just went over with the brand changes. Um, it's just getting that timing and the logistics down of getting everything here, and not letting putting a customer out while trying to get a delivery there if it's somebody's living where the job is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is definitely tough, right? It's hard to, because all of it ultimately falls on your shoulders, as for in regards to the customer's eyes. But yeah, some of those things are just not, unfortunately, not in control very much. And so yeah, that definitely is challenging. And
Yeah.
yeah, just I think, yeah, tackling it the way you are, right? Just communication, taking it, talking about it, trying to get those delivered on time is huge.
Yeah.
um I wanted to talk about the future, where you're heading as a business. Looking ahead, maybe like 6 months to a year, are there any goals that you guys are focusing on in your business? And what is the strategy to achieve those goals?
So right now we're partners, and we're trying to start a third branch to the company up in Tennessee, where my partner moved recently. And so we're wrestling with all of that and figuring out how that's going to work. And that's a goal of ours. And then he is the builder. He is the one that cuts and builds our handmade stuff. So he is also still looking to do a CNC machine. What he's just been challenged with is they moved up there and they bought a church, so he's got to make sure that everything is ready when he gets a CNC to support it, because those that he's not on a slab, so he's got to make sure that floor is going to hold that size machinery. Um, he's got his shop up and running up there, which has been great, and he's done some jobs up there. But we're still looking towards possibly a CNC, whether it's in Florida or in Tennessee, we aren't sure, but it should be in Tennessee, I think. It's just a challenge of if we're ready for it, if we got the volume of work to just start putting it out. things like that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes total sense. It's exciting. I'm sure it's a little nerve-wracking, right? Going into
Yeah,
new areas, but
definitely.
yeah, that's exciting. When you think about scaling at North End, right? When you think about growing, what is the primary way that you guys want to grow? I know you just mentioned, exploring new areas in Tennessee, but are there any other areas that you guys want to grow in, maybe project volume or a more specialized service, or is there something else?
Um, as far as that goes, we're probably just looking for installation teams, because if we know that if we increase sales, the current installation team we have won't be able to handle every job. Because there's a lot of building here in Florida going on. So if I increase sales at one of those sites, we're talking like two to several homes at once, which means we just have to increase the efficiency of how our installation team works, and we will need to find other installers. And when we are at our busiest, I have tried out other installers, and they've done a good job, but I don't have the business to keep them busy. So they do move on. But that's the challenge with, once we grow and get sales, we will have to have people to at a level of the installation that we want, where everybody will be happy with what's happening.
You mentioned sales. Talking about sales, what is the biggest sales related challenge you believe must be solved before you can successfully achieve that next level of growth?
Um, a lot of it is customer education. When people come to us and I talk to them, my question is always like, well, what kind of finisher material are you thinking about? Most of them don't understand the frameless and face frame cabinetry, but they all get color and door styles. They all understand that, but a lot of them haven't thought about it. They're just having me come there and look at their space. So there's a lot of challenge in getting people to a point where my estimate or pricing can be accurate the first time, so I'm not having to do it two or three or maybe even a dozen times before
Yeah.
we're close, to what the people want. That's been a big challenge for me in this area, because some people at a point they'll do some pricing for two or three rounds, and then they'll bring in a designer, and then it all goes out the window.
Mm.
Um, and designers are great because they tend to be more focused, and usually once they're involved, there isn't many changes after the initial revision of whatever they come in on. So that's been great. But I think really the customer education aspect of it when they come to us, and we encourage them to not just talk to us. We want them talking to other companies, looking at countertops, talking to them, because we don't want anybody to just take our word for it. We encourage, transparency where they can talk to anyone, and we're as honest as we can be. And so just all of that can lead to them knowing what they're getting. Because sometimes when you deliver something, people will go, well, that's not what I thought I was getting. And so clarifying all of that is so important when you're making a sale. And having something where, like, if we start branching out and trying to increase sales, we will probably have to limit like a selection group down, so when people look at it, they have less choices, and it can be made quickly, and all at the same price, which was part of our focus for going to ordered cabinets also, is that we could sell this line over here and all their finishes at one price, and you can pick whatever you want, but you need to pick it and stay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. There's definitely a lot that goes into there. But
Yeah.
I definitely think that the transparency that you described is huge. I'm sure it builds that trust with the customer and just starts that relationship off so well. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I can only hope that if they talk to other cabinet people, we are saying the same things, not about going to other people, just about what we're telling them about the product.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, Aaron, I really appreciate today's conversation. The insights you brought, I'm sure our listeners will enjoy hearing about it. Before we go, where can our listeners find more out about North End and just learn more about your services?
Well, right now, as I mentioned, we're kind of toying with what we're doing up within Tennessee. So our website's under construction, but it is northendcabinetry.com. Um, and you can still fill out the contact form and it'll get to me. But we do use Instagram quite often to show off our jobs. We are also on Facebook, but we don't really do much on there. We just kind of share what we share on Instagram. So either platform is good. We're watching them all the time, so that's the best places to get in touch with us.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So, to close, I'd like to ask one last question. Since this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast, and you, as the leader, co owner of North End, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Um, I want people to say that we were honest with them all the time. And they never had any questions, and if they did, we addressed them honestly. There's been times when I've gone to jobs and people have me look at a bathroom and I said, you're better off just buying a piece because what you want is complicated and it can cost you way too much for a simple thing you could probably just find if you, again, had patience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's really cool. The transparency is huge. So that's really cool. Well, thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.